Okay, so welcome back to my little series on how to save a life. Basically 2 weeks ago, if you watched the first video, I was contacted by DKMS to say that I was possibly a match for somebody for blood stem cells, and so 2 weeks on, things have moved forward a bit, and they now want me to go for a medical in London. I live in Manchester, so it's a bit of a trek, so that means I've got to get a train down there. That's not a problem. They organise everything for you, so they're going to book the train ticket for me and everything. So actually next week, next Wednesday, I'm going to be going down to London for this medical, and apparently it takes about 3 hours, and yeah, it gives you lots of information for me personally, as well as for the procedure itself, so it could be useful for me as well. So assuming that that's okay, then they're looking at a date of the 9th or 10th of July to actually do the procedure in hospital, a 2-day stay in hospital, and it will be a 2-day stay because they're looking at the bone marrow way of taking the cells, so the more complicated way, unfortunately. So yeah, so they're looking at that, so that'd be in just over around 4 weeks from now, 3 weeks after I've had the medical. So that's where I'm up to, really. So things have moved on a bit. I had a big conversation on the phone with DKMS for about half an hour. They told me lots of information about what was going to happen next, the procedures, how things would work at the hospital, what happens after you've had your procedure. You have quite a few checkups, so you have, I think it was blood tests a month afterwards, and then 6 months, and then 12 months. So they keep an eye on you to make sure everything's okay and that your blood cells have regenerated. They actually said that they only take about 5% of your bone marrow, which doesn't really sound like a lot, really, does it? And it takes about 4 weeks for it to regenerate back to its normal state. What else did they say? One of the main things that the guy said on the phone, which hit home to me more than anything else, was he was talking about the patient who's potentially going to get my cells. They have to go through chemotherapy, quite intensive therapy, before they can accept my cells, otherwise it would just get rejected. But that chemotherapy basically renders their immune system as nothing, so they're in a very vulnerable position. And what he said to me was, you know, not trying to frighten me or scare me off or anything, but if during the week running up to the actual my actual procedure of taking the cells, if during that week I decided not to go through with it, or something happened where I couldn't go through with it, then the patient would probably die. And that was quite a shock to me, really. Obviously they're in a bad way because of the procedure that they need to go through to get better, but that kind of worried me a little bit, because I was thinking, what if it was something that out of my control? You know, if I was ill and I couldn't go under general anaesthetic. It's kind of, that's probably the thing that worries me most about this whole procedure, not actually going through the procedure, but actually what happens if I don't, and the person, you know, could die. It's as simple as that. And especially in those final days before my cells are taken, if something happens and I can't, then they'll be in that bad a state with their immune system that they're probably going to die. So yeah, that's the bit I'm worried most about anyway. Not actually the procedure, I'm not worried about it at all, but I'm more worried about the fact of what happens if I don't, if I'm not able to, for whatever reason. It could be anything. so that's where we're up to at the minute, and so next step is to go for this medical in London, so I'll probably do another video around that time about what happens down there. So hopefully you find it interesting, and there's lots of information about how you can join the register yourself in the description. I'd be interested to see any of your comments if you've taken part in this procedure yourself, or you're at the other end, the receiving end of it. It'd be nice to hear some comments. I've not done it before, obviously, so I'm new to it. I'm just telling you what my experiences are, really. So yeah, if you haven't seen the first video, go back and watch the other video. And this is episode number 2. So I'll speak again soon.